Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have such a wonderful mom that you are living life through her words? Well, my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I am the owner and CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitators of Secrets of Us Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge that they already know working from their computers around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you were ever told that you would not succeed. And remember to click the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 6-month course, VP Nursing Business Academy. Our special guest today is Dominique Fontaine. So Dominique, tell us a little bit about you today.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Dominique Fontaine, and I am the founder of Sage Integrative Wellness. I am a double board certified holistic nurse and a health and wellness nurse coach. I graduated from Queen's University, original ASN nurse, and then went on to my BSN later, and then went to do some graduate school at Duke University from North Carolina. I did some travel nursing out in California just to explore, adventure myself. And then I suffered a traumatic brain injury and took me out of the bedside. And I became a holistic nurse entrepreneur doing what I do at Sage Integrative Wellness now for 4 years. So it's just been a tremendous journey.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, what was your primary reasoning for becoming a nurse?
Oh, wow. I became a nurse, honestly, to help others and care for others. I actually did a health careers class in my junior and senior year in high school. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because we got to travel and go to the hospital and shadow. I wanted to shadow a nurse, and I also wanted to shadow a doctor because I was deciding like, hey, do I want to do nursing school or do I want to do med school? And what I realized right off the bat was, hey, like I really enjoy how the nurses are interacting and caring for patients like the whole day, instead of what I noticed with the physicians. They were interacting with the nurses, but they were delegating to the healthcare team. And I was like, okay, you know what? I really want to be a nurse. Like I knew in high school that that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I got my CNA and never looked back.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And, I think that a lot of nurses who initially wanted to go to be a physician, that is the reason why they switched it, was because most of the time, now not every time, but most of the time, it is because of the interaction with the patient and because I love being with the patient, a great deal. Yeah. And the fact that the physician is not with the patient as much is one of the things that most nurses say. So I love it, and exposure is everything, right? You were exposed to it in high school. And so it made that difference as to the trajectory of your career, right?
Absolutely.
So now when we first talked, you said that your mother was your best friend. Now tell me about, and we're on the backside of Mother's Day. Tell me about why you think you were so close when some mothers and daughters have such a hard time getting along.
Yes. Well, I can't speak for other relationships of moms and daughters having difficulties, but I will say that like my mother and I, we didn't always get along, and like we had our bad days, but a lot of that honestly was me being like the rebel teenage girl back then, just wanting space and not wanting to be told what to do and letting my ego come in. And as some people know, they understand New York Dom is that ego. And so, New York Dom would get in the way of like that true clarity of like what some of my mom's point of views were. That my mom was so actively engaged in my life as a daughter, even with my sister as well. It's just the two of us, but we were heavily involved in competitive cheerleading, international modeling. running track, visiting colleges that I got accepted in during undergraduate school and graduate. I was like, Mom, can you come? Yes. And she was there for that full support. So I remember even like she would take me out to lunch. She said, Dom, I'm going to take you out to lunch every single day for the month before you go to school, like for leaving for the first time in college. And so they, at that point, like we really strengthened our bond and our relationship that we had. We spoke on the phone like almost every single day. And I loved it because as I got older, I realized her words that she was saying, like I respected the things that she was saying, and she was there to support me through the mistakes that I made. She was there to listen to me when I wanted to vent about my crazy day as a nurse. And she was there for me to like cry on her shoulder when I was just going through it. So I'm really grateful for her wisdom, her guidance, and her mentoring. And honestly, her as a spiritual advisor. She taught me how to be a respectable woman and to let God shine through my words, my actions, and like my whole relationship with everyone. So I'm really grateful.
And it makes a difference, because what happens is when you guys are going through that, because I went through it, but when I look back at the kids who didn't necessarily have those parental, people that were just always there, right?
Mhm.
Many times I've seen them grow up and they didn't take that great trajectory in their lives, right? And we don't
Yeah.
understand it. We don't get it at that time, right? Because we think, oh my
Right.
God, are you going to go to another dance with me? Really? You know, please
Yeah.
just stay home because I really don't need you here. Okay.
Yes.
And so you have all that attitude, but the reality is that that parental support is so important. And as you grow up, it's the thing that you don't really know that you need, right? You don't
Yes.
really know that you need that, your mom and your dad, and it doesn't have to be, because I think that some people, they didn't have such a great relationship with their mom. It doesn't necessarily have to be your mom, right? And
Yeah.
so if you are listening and you have a mama who is not necessarily your mama, even if it was your mama, just tell a story about how amazing your mama is, because our mamas are just amazing. Mine is anyway. So your mother was diagnosed with cancer during the time that you were in school. Now,
Mhm.
what were some of your thoughts when you were told that she had cancer?
Yeah, honestly, it was a moment that my family, my dad, sister, and I, we all found out, and my mother, we all found out at the same time. And it didn't seem real. It was super scary at the time because I had a good understanding of what the doctor was explaining about, what was going on because I was already an experienced nurse, and I found out in my graduate program that this was happening. And I was thinking, well, I never knew that being a nurse and being a daughter would be so hard during a time like this. It
Mm.
was it was a lot to process, honestly. And I was also thinking though, that I was really grateful that I had moved back from California, because I had gotten some cold feet, like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this DMP FNP program in California, and not be back home in North Carolina doing this. So I decided to make an executive decision to move back home, even though the program was online. But I was so glad that I made that choice because I didn't know that same year was going to be my last year that I would spend time with my mother. So it was a scary experience. I was very grateful that I did know what I know, but at the same time, it was like, a catch 22 of like almost knowing too much as a nurse and having to be that daughter as well too. So it was a difficult time, honestly.
My mom actually got diagnosed with COVID, and when she was diagnosed with COVID, we were at the beach, and I remember walking down the beach, and the physician, she made it through, but she honestly thought that she was not going to make it, and I remember walking down the beach and literally talking through it. right? As
Mhm.
a daughter and as a
Mhm.
nurse, which
Yeah.
literally tore me apart, just talking through it and trying to understand what I needed to do. But I had to, I had to talk through it on the phone with a physician that I was not really familiar with, right? But just
Mhm.
really, really just saying, okay, I need to take a step back. What would I tell my patients? What do I need to do? What would I tell my patients' family members? Think logically, because if
Mhm.
you add emotion into it, it's gonna, it's not gonna be all that great. So
Mhm.
I had to really take a step back, and it was a tough. Now, you said that you still have a voicemail from your mom. What did that voicemail say, and how did it affect your life?
Yeah, the voicemail was actually on her phone, and
Okay.
and so she created this voicemail on her cell phone, and at the end, it stated, "And remember to make this day the best day that you've ever had." And at the time, it sounded so cheesy and
And corny.
yes, corny, cliche, cheesy, all of it. And we used to pick on her about this voicemail all the time, but however, like now reflecting back and having a deeper lens on life now, lens on life, purpose, grief, trauma, resiliency, all of that, really having a deep dive on that. I try to live in the moment, and in the present as much as I can, not knowing what life is gonna bring on my journey, and to make sure that I do live it to the fullest each day as my sage mother instilled in all of us, not just myself, but anyone that called her and got her voicemail, they picked up on those words of wisdom that crossed path with her. So I it sounds so cheesy, but now I'm like, oh, that's not cheesy. It's just such a jewel of wisdom now. And I appreciate it every single day when I hear it. Like it does something to me because it does resonate
I
very
love it.
much.
I love it. And the reality is that our parents, they say things, and it's power of life and death in the tongue, right? And
Yeah.
so understanding that is huge, right? Because I didn't understand that at first. I didn't understand that power. But
Mhm.
if you hear it over and over and over again, such as with their voicemail, then it can be a game changer for you.
Yeah.
Now, you became a board certified holistic nurse. Now, what does this mean, and how can you help others with this certification?
Yes. So a board certified nurse, let's just say that for a
Okay.
moment. That is just validating national competency and expertise in a specialty that you choose. And for me, it was a specialty of holistic nursing. And holistic nursing really what that in general terms, what that really means is that we see the whole person, mind, body, spirit, energetic, their environment internally and externally, and we look at that whole mind, body, spirit aspect of themselves, not just the physical aspect. And so there's other things that we learn as well too, but this board certification supports nurses in learning about the theories, the philosophies, and the ethics of holistic nursing, as well as a gazillion different in-depth specialties in various complementary alternative modalities in the holistic nurse role, like energy therapies, some people have heard of laying of the hands or Reiki, healing touch, mind body medicine, like meditation, natural products like cannabis, herbs, vitamins, supplements, and things like that. So much that we learn. And so I help nurses who are really unfulfilled in their current nursing career by supporting them in advancing their nursing careers and holistic nursing specialties if they align with that, and help them with credentialing and board certification with my SAGE mentorships that I created for holistic nursing, nurse coaching, and preparing cannabis nurses. so that they can become competent as cannabis nurses until there is a board certification there, so that they can like work in their true soul purpose. There was a reason why we all went into nursing school at some point. And so finding that meaning and purpose in our lives and helping to restore balance in their own lives and not, stick that personal and professional life in that front fifth pocket anymore, and
Mhm.
help them balance that work and life satisfaction so we can find it enjoyable doing what we do, which is serving and caring for others. So,
And one of the things that I think that I know that I didn't know as a beginning nurse, as a new nurse, novice nurse, is that, I need, because I was all about the specific, like the task of the day, right? And
mhm.
didn't really understand that, I needed to be holistic myself. I needed to pour from a full cup. I needed to pour from my saucer, because if I didn't pour from my saucer, then I would deplete myself.
Yeah.
And that was true to who I am now. Now I'm very intentional about, and people I think sometimes think that it is very selfish
Mhm.
to have self-care, but it is not selfish.
No.
Self-care is something that we all need to do. We all need to have. We all need to be purposeful about that, because at the end of the day, if you cannot pour from that saucer, right, your
Mhm.
cup is overflowing into that saucer, then what happens is you deplete yourself and you're no good to anyone. So I love it.
Absolutely.
Love.
Absolutely.
So now you are a nurse coach as well. Now, what's some of the ways in which you can help other nurses in your coaching?
Yes. So as a board certified health and wellness nurse coach, and there's so many different avenues that nurse coaches can be in,
Mhm.
but in this professional nurse coach role, I like to help clients who are looking to restore that homeostasis or balance in their life. Um, I have a clinical background in neuroscience and critical care, and so and amongst other specialties. But I like to cap it off as psychoneuroendocrine immunology, such a long word, but psych, mind, hormones, body, all of that, as well as cannabis and functional nutrition and the use of other holistic modalities. And so, as an integrative health and wellness nurse coach. I help nurses in these two unique specialties, nurse coaching and holistic nursing. And I help aspiring holistic nurse entrepreneurs leverage and transform with their inner sage, because we forget about our innate selves,
That's right.
that good, deep stuff, within a person. And so I help them with board certification and coaching with that, but I also help offer health and wellness businesses for nurse coaches who want to monetize and leverage their amazing gifts in the health and wellness and cannabis industries. And I help them with creating signature wellness workshops and creating wellness businesses from scratch with a step by step remedy that will help them with transformation with others. So it's really fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I do some of the sort of the same things in a very different realm, but I tell my clients, because I coach them on Thursday night,
Mhm.
and I tell them, I said, this is like, I live for Thursday nights. I live for that time, because it is so freeing to come in and do the thing that God has designed me to do. And I'm sure
Mhm.
that that is, the day that you were born and the day that you find out why it's two most important days of your life, and finding that out is so super important. So now, what is some of the advice that you would give a nurse that is going into coaching business for the first time?
Yes, I would say for starters that coaching has nothing to do with fixing someone, which a lot of times, like that's what we are like so drilled in our minds of wanting to do as a nurse. And so it's hard to remove that, but it's really not about fixing someone or fixing something. Cause then like someone try to tell us what to do, like, we're like, girl, bye. Like we ain't thinking about that. And so we're not gonna do it. And so coaching is not about fixing someone, and it's also not the same as consulting, which is actually like getting in there and helping someone like with step A to Z and just telling them what needs to be done because of your expertise and what you're consulting them in. So I would let them know that the business of coaching consists of like really being authentic and vulnerable, and that helps to build that trust with the coaching relationship of whoever that you're coaching with and that interaction, and that they should really have the willingness to have this lifelong experience of like learning and professional growth. That's going to continue to help them to display that modeling to role modeling aspect of their coaching experience with others, because people are looking at them. And we have, like, as people would say, like, we practice what we preach. Like, that self-care piece that you was mentioning earlier, like, that is so important. And so if we're not taking care of ourselves, how can we, heal to the extent to which we only heal ourselves?
That's right.
So that's so important. And I would say the last thing would be for them to have no expectations of any outcomes and to have fun with this rewarding career path as a coach in business. It is so fun.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So now, what is a book that has inspired you, and why was it so inspirational?
Ooh. So a best friend of mine, who's actually a nurse, and
Uh-huh.
I call her a spiritual sister of mine. There's a book called Wait and See by Wendy Pope.
Uh-huh.
And she gave that book to me when she got to really bear witness to a lot of things that I was experiencing as a close friend, when I experienced some difficult traumas and experiences. She sent that book to me, and I was really glad that she sent it to me because it was full of inspiration and guidance, in learning how to trust the process and learning how to trust God's plan in times of challenges and uncertainty, which is everywhere these days. So it really helped me to just slow down and strengthen my faith, and that everything would be okay no matter if it didn't go how I thought it would go planned. Like, I almost laugh at myself now when I like try to plan something out, because I'm like, no, no, no,
God is laughing at your plan. He's laughing.
yes,
He's
yes.
laughing. He's
So
like, look, this is what I got. This is what I got going on right here. Okay. I promise
yes,
you, I got you. Okay.
yes. I absolutely love that book because I'm one that likes to journal and reflect, and like when I process stuff, sometimes it's either like journaling it out or painting it and expressing myself. And so this book allows you to literally like go in and write and process it out as you're reading it, and it's spaces in between it, like, and I'm so particular, so I won't actually write in the book. I'll like write on another piece of paper because I don't want to mess up the book and stuff. But yeah, it's a really, really good book, and I highly recommend it to anyone that finds difficult challenges or difficulty in trusting the process when things don't always go as planned, in the way that they thought it would be. It's totally full of inspiration.
I love it because what happens a lot of times, I think that when we're in the valley situations, because we have hilltops and we have valleys, and everybody's going to go through them. Because when we have, it says, in the Bible that the calamity falls on the just and the unjust, right? And so we're going to have those moments of, ups and downs. The problem though is that, we struggle to trust God in those valley situations. We're
Mhm.
okay on those hilltop situations, but what we don't know is that whenever you're in the hilltop situation, the reality is that the valley a lot of times is the next thing that's going to hit you, right? And
Yeah.
once you understand that you need to trust him on that upside of that hill, just like trusting him on that upside of the hill, he's the same God across, whether you're on the hill or whether you're on the valley, and
Yeah.
understanding that he will work it out every time. There's a song by Toby Mac, and it says it may be midnight, it may be day, but he's coming to help you. I've lived enough life to know that every time he's coming to help you, every time. And I've lived enough life to know that every single solitary time God has got you. So I love it. I love it.
Yes. Just wait and see. Read that book.
Oh, so now, who is someone in your nursing profession that has impacted your life, in your career, and why were they so impactful?
Mm. Well, there's quite a lot of nurse leaders, I would say, on this journey of being a nurse that have really truly impacted my life and my career. But I'll start with my initial impactful encounter, which honestly was a very special nurse colleague, friend, mentor. Her name is Kathy, and she's an integrative nurse specialist. And I was like, what is this? When I first met her, like, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, working in the hospital. And she came up and did an in-service. And it was like, wow, I didn't know anything about this type of nursing. It was holistic nursing that she was talking to us about. And I was like, that's the type of nursing that I want to do. Like, I love neuro. I will forever do neuro, but to add holistic nursing on top of that to the neuro environment, like, I was like, yes. But she was so impactful in my life. She's the one who introduced me to holistic nursing in that clinical setting. She exposed me to so much as what a holistic nurse could do in the hospital and outside of that medical model. I learned from her about the national organization like the American Holistic Nurses Association, who supports holistic nurses in education and resources. She taught me many holistic nursing modalities like clinical aromatherapy and energy healing, like healing touch and Reiki. She also taught me how to do reflexology. And then probably the coolest thing early on, and this is like first year novice nurse learning all of this stuff. So it was truly amazing. But one of the first things that I got to encounter with her was conducting holistic nursing pilot studies in the hospital with clinical reflexology. And at the time, we were helping with small bowel obstructions and ileuses with our patients and lowering those rates and cases using touch and reflexology. And so it was really amazing to see some of those patient outcomes and numbers on the data side of things. And she even helped me create holistic nursing curriculum to enhance holistic nursing in the nursing profession and in the hospitals. And I wouldn't say the very last thing, because we still have an ongoing relationship. Like every week we talk. She's probably like my second mother. But she was even there for me during that time with my mother, in that intimate moment when my mother was transitioning. And she offered holistic nursing services to her when I needed that the most, and when my mother needed that the most, even the more. When I needed to be a daughter at that time, she brought so much light and guidance in my nursing career, and like I'm just so forever grateful for Kathy, because still to this day, like I was saying, like she and I have a strong relationship and a strong bond that as a nurse and even as a human being that I could ever possibly ask for. She taught me how to heal myself and how I could be that healer for others. So I'm tremendously ever grateful for her.
I love it. I love it. Now you need to show Kathy this video, okay, so she can
Oh,
know.
I will. I talk about Kathy in everything that I do. She knows it.
Because it's important for the people who have impacted your life. It's important for them to know, right? Because you don't necessarily know that you're doing a good thing until you are told by someone else on the outside that you're doing that good thing. And so it's really, really it's really good. And so someone on Facebook, which I can't see who they are, but they said that that's because you don't want to have any valid situations, and a lot of people don't want to have valid situations. But what is not realized is that it's in the valid situations. It's not on your hilltops that you learn. It's in your valid situations in which you learn. You learn a whole lot more, because once you fail, or once you quote unquote fail, because I don't think you ever fail unless you stop. When you stop, you fail. Okay.
Yes.
It is a continual process. And so you learn, well, I'm not going to go, if I go and I touch that stove and it's hot, I'm not going to that stove no more. Right.
Yeah.
And that could be a fail, but the reality is that it's not a fail. It's just you've learned I can't go touch that stove anymore. And I may receive a scar from that touching of that stove. But at the end of the day, I'm good, right? I'm
Yes.
good. I'm good. I'm going to heal. So I love it. So now where can the audience find you?
Oh, you guys can find me at www.sageintegrativewellness.com or www.cannabisnursecoach.com or Dominique at sageintegrativewellness.com. If anyone out there is interested in credentialing purposes, you can find me amongst other nurses as well too at www.ahncc.org under various different pages there. That is the National American Holistic Nurses Credentialing Corporation, where nurses are getting board certified through that. And for my social media people, you can find me at Sage Integrative Wellness on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Pinterest. And if you're a Twitter person, at Sage Wellness RN.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for coming in today. We had a good time, which I knew that we were. The people that I talked to, they're phenomenal.
You are phenomenal.
I love you. So my name is Dr. Viola Pierce, owner and CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge that they already know, working from their computers around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders such as Dominique that have overcome, so that you know that the possibilities are endless. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you were ever told that you would not succeed. And remember to click the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 6-month course, VP Nursing Business Academy. You guys have a phenomenal rest of your day.